Hey everyone, this is Jasper, co-founder of reVillager. I'm going to be doing a quick little tutorial on how to use the reVillager homepage and the channels. And so right here you'll see this is my desktop. That's what will show up in any browser on your computer. And over to the right we have a phone view, so this is what it'll look like on your phone. It's mostly the same but a little bit different. This is an iPhone, but it should look the exact same on an Android. So we see here on the desktop, this is the home page. And the home page you can click and get to from anywhere by clicking this home button at the top left corner. And you'll see channels, you'll see a chat box, and you'll see over to the right you have upcoming events, announcements, and village lists. So we'll just start with the buttons from top to bottom. So we have the home page button, click this, you end up here. We have the switch village button. So if I click this, right now I'm in the reVillager community, but I can switch to other villages that I'm a part of. And if you want to join a new village, you can click that button and use the invite code. If you were sent one, you're invited to a village. You can also create your own village by clicking this button. You can also leave the village you're currently in. And you can get out of that with the X button. So right now it tells me which community I'm in. Over to the right, we have these buttons which basically allow you to navigate through the app. We have the board, takes you to the bulletin board. Create is to create a post on the bulletin board. Messages takes you to your direct messages. Notifications tell you everything that's going on for all your villages. And profile is your own profile, which catalogs all your posts. And there will be tutorials on each section. For right now, I'm just going to focus on the home page. So over to the left, you'll see channels. On some apps, this will be called courtyards. They're the same thing. They're basically topic-based conversations. When you click on one of them, like here, I click on introductions. This is the chat for introductions. So we have a channel called introductions so people can introduce themselves. You'll see people saying who they are. Up here, we have fireside chats. Again, conversation. This is all real time. And the idea is, in a lot of communities, we need kind of constant communication, and not everything needs to be permanent or a post. So kind of like running into someone in a courtyard, you have a conversation. This involves everybody in the community in those channels. And so you can talk about, here we have shared meals, over here we have Village Square. And you notice all of these channels are under the members circle. So members is everybody in your community. Below you'll see stewards. These are channels that belong to the stewards of the community, who are basically the admin or moderators of the community. And then below that we have different types of circles, and depending on your community you'll have different kinds of circles. Circles are basically just subgroups inside of the community. So we have creatives here, they have their own channel. Parents, they have their own channel. Gardeners, they have their own channels. And each circle can have as many channels as they want. But the important thing to remember is that if you're not in the circle, you will not see their channels. So the idea is that you only see what's relevant to you. And so right now I'm part of the creatives and the parents and the gardeners, but I might not be part of a builder's circle or, some circle that maybe I have nothing to do with. So I don't need to see conversations in those circles. So you'll notice up top which circles that you're part of. You can close them if you don't want to see them. You can also go to any channel, and you'll see at the top left there's a ... You click that. You can mute the channel, meaning you won't get notifications when people talk on it. So this just helps basically stop you from getting overwhelmed of too many notifications and too much going on. Or you just don't care about that conversation, you can just mute it. You can also edit the channel if you're the one that created it, and you can also delete it. Over to the right, this bell button is the same thing as the muting. So if I click that, it means that it's muted, and it'll show up here as well. And if I click it again, it's on. It means I'll be notified when someone says something in this chat. Now, we're talking in this chat. I can write anything I want. I can also mention people by the @ symbol. And so that will basically notify that person that I've mentioned them in the chat. I can add pictures by clicking this bottom left button. And over to the right, I can click, that will send it, but if I click this microphone button and hold, I can actually leave a voice recording, and then that will show up in the chat. and I'll have to click, I can either get rid of it or I can send it. And so now I have a voice note in here. So that's basically the basic idea of channels is you're talking with your community about whatever the topic is, and your community will get to decide what channels and what circles they have. One really cool thing about the channels is sometimes you're in a conversation and you want something to actually leave this kind of chat platform and move over into the bulletin board so that it actually becomes more of a permanent place where people can talk about it and find it. Because in a channel like this, similar to direct messages or group chats, very quickly as you talk, your information will disappear. It'll scroll up. So the idea here is you can click on any message. When you click on it, you can react to it. So you can, do the usual any emoji you want to react to someone's message. You can also create a post. So when you click create a post, what that does is it takes the message and then it makes it so you can immediately make it into a post on the bulletin board, and it'll bring over all the information. So this is really great if, say, you want to talk about a potluck that you want to start, but you don't want to make a post about it yet. You write the message, people agree, then you click on the message and you turn it into a post. And bringing it over to the bulletin board makes it much more substantial, like a bulletin board at a community center. It stays there, you can search it, it's very easy to find information, and every post has its own chat room. Now, if you clicked on someone else's message, there is one more button that says reply. This means that it will copy what that person said and you can reply to it so that people know who you're talking to or what you're replying to. So if we go down on the left side, we'll see that we have our members. This is all the people in the community. You can click on view all members, and this will take you to the page with little cards for everybody who's in your community. You can also search members. This is where you can send invites. If you're bringing someone into your community, you click send invite and you can put their email address, their names. You can even decide what circles they're in and then send the invite. And then you can click view invites to see who's been invited. If you are an admin, then you can start to manage a little bit of who's in your village. And then if you go back, just below the all members is all circles. So again, circles are subgroups. These are all the circles that exist in my community. If you might have more, you might have less, it just depends. You can create a new circle with this button. Say any circle you want. So I can create a builder's circle, create the circle, and then I can click on it and I can start inviting people. So if I click the plus button, you can basically find anyone in your village and add them to that circle. You can also delete people from the circle. You can also message them. So this is really important, especially if you're an admin in your village, because this is how people get sectioned in their subgroups. And if those channels exist for their subgroups, that's how they find that information and become part of the conversation. So you click back from here, and then down below members and circles, you'll see the invite people to join this village. You can click that button. Again, you can just click the email and it'll open up a card for you to be able to send an email. But below that, you can also just copy and paste this and send it to anyone in any platform. And it basically just gives them the ability to download the app, get to the browser page if they want to do it through computer, and then it gives them the invite code, and that allows them to join any village they want, or join your village once you send them the invite code. Below these things, we have the village vision and values. And so again, the admins will be able to kind of put what they want there. The idea is this is kind of your agreements as a village. This is your vision, your purpose, your mission statement. You can click this button with the settings if you are an admin, a steward, and you can start to even decide who can do what things within the village, which is super useful if you have a big village. And this is really nice, especially if you have people coming into the village that aren't already part of your community that might want to know a bit more about what your community is all about. The vision values is really helpful. Okay, now up to the right here, we have upcoming events. This basically will have a list of all the events that are upcoming. You can click on it and it'll take you right to that card, and you can click going and talk about it there. Announcements are community-wide announcements made by the stewards. So you can click on it from here. And then village lists are any lists that are happening in your village. This is another feature of the board. And you can create a list of things you might need from the grocery store or the department store. And then you can go through and click completed. So those will always be on your homepage to the right. Now, all of this is very similar on the phone. We'll just bring your attention over here to the right. Only instead of the events, announcements, lists, and members all being on the sides, it's up top. And if you just swipe over, you can see members, circles, that's the village vision, lists. So these are all at the top in cards. You click any of them and it takes you to that page. The channels are just straight down. You have the same switch village button at the top. You go down, same channels. The only difference is that below it is just the invite people to join this village. The other big difference is on the phone, these 5 buttons, which allow you to move across the entire app, are down at the bottom here, except that plus button isn't there. The reason for that is when you click the board button at the center, you can click the plus button up here. And we'll go over that in the tutorial for the board. For now, that is the complete tutorial for the home page. Again, you can always just click on that home button at the bottom left or at the top left here on the browser, and you end up here. This is where the app will open up. This is where reVillager, most of the content is here. However, all of the other sections of reVillager are also really helpful. This is just where you'll land each time. So I hope that's been helpful. And last but not least, if you ever have any questions, there's a bug, or you'd like to give feedback on whether or not you like this app or certain aspects of it, we really appreciate your feedback as much as possible. We are still beta testing and developing this, so we need your feedback to make it better. You go down to the bottom right and there's this question mark button. It's on the browser, it's also on the phone at the bottom right. You click that button and a card comes up, and here you can click. You write down any feedback you have, any questions, any bugs, any problems, and you click the submit feedback button. It sends an email straight to us. Our tech guys get to immediately sort it out, and it's really helpful. So please use that button as much as you want. And something that's super helpful is if you take a screenshot of where you're stuck. So if there's a bug, if there's a button that's not working, whatever it is, take a screenshot and send that here with it. Great, so thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a great experience. Bye.